Tube should be going. Yes. And we are live.
Back to another episode of Making My Friends Cry. All right.
Yes.
I also really like that shirt, Harris. I hadn't seen that.
What is that? Oh, nice.
It's the 9 3/4 shirt.
Very cool.
All right. I have had limited time this week to put this together, so we'll see how it goes.
So we're winging it today, boy.
Yeah, that was weird. Right, here we go. So this will be a little bit back in time. This will start with some of the perspective of Osint and some of the things going on. I intended for this to be I intended to make something out of this so it sounds a little script-like. It'll be a little different, but here we go. The sound of festivities can barely be heard as the sacred tribe of Titania celebrates one of their people's rise in rank from brave to champion. Meanwhile, in the glow of simple magical torches lining the interior of an otherwise dark cave, a small assembly has gathered. Sharam says, "Thank you all for agreeing to this meeting. Since not all of us are familiar with each other, it would be expedient for us to introduce ourselves. I am Sharam Loros, High Sage of the Seekers of Cryptus. Accompanying me is my advisor, Osint." Osint nods to the other members of the assembly. Also representing the Seekers is one of our most talented battle mages, Amir Sifas. Amir nods. "A pleasure to be here." But he has not kept his eyes off of the unfamiliar faces, in particular, Queen Clover, the half-pixie warrior. Queen Clover speaks. "Are your assemblies always filled with such an air of suspicion?" Sharam says, "Forgive our caution. We have faced much hardship during these few weeks on the island. It was not a slight. To survive here, one must spare a mote of distrust for everyone, even their own allies." Carlos speaks. "So you have been on this cursed island for some time, I see." Queen Clover. "I was born here." Carlos. "Then you'll forgive me for my mistrust deepening even now." And Father Raoul speaks. "Calm, brother. Let us finish our introductions. Sharam, your invitation is appreciated. I know that Cryptus has not always had favorable relations with the Church of Arcosia, despite our alliance with the Council of Nations, but I am grateful that these circumstances have given us a common goal." He turns to address the others. "I am Raoul." Carlos interrupts him. "Oh, don't leave your title out now, Father. It is an official meeting after all." Father Raoul sighs. "I am Father Raoul. I'm here on the behalf of the Church of Arcosia. This is Carlos Lumenvale, one of our crusaders." Queen Clover speaks. "Crusader? Are there many holy wars in your lands?" Then Amir speaks. "Every war is holy war to the Church. Some say they're so eager to spread their religion that they pray for conflict." And Sharam. "That is enough, Amir." He turns toward the drawn Atogo. "Please, let's continue." Atogo says, "My name is Atogo. I'm not from your time. I don't know how exactly I got here, but 2 weeks ago I found myself in a cave on the island. But just an hour before that, I was in a battle elsewhere in the world. The Battle of Grey Arch." Thimon Colewhisker raises an eyebrow. "That battle was 5 years ago." Atago nods. "So I have learned." And Carlos looks towards Thimon. "So the dwarf speaks after all. Who are you?" Thimon says, "Thimon Colewhisker, Tamper Mage. I'm not a member of any of the factions present, though. I'm an adventurer from Volcania. Osint's ally, Killen, saved my group, and I from an evil mirror dimension we were trapped in." Queen Clover says, "A Tamper Mage. That must mean you are the one we are relying on to alter the magic of this fog." Thimon. "So it appears. And you are? Clover, warrior queen of the... She catches herself with a sigh. Warrior. Sharam then speaks again. Very good. Now we have all introduced ourselves. And then Thimen says, Aye, but we haven't quite yet, have we? I'll remind you that as a Tamper Mage, I can see magic, and that sword you've been carrying with you is more than just a weapon. The sword in Sharam's belt shakes as a thin mist emanates slowly from the jewel of its pommel, taking shape between everyone as a semi-humanoid cloud. Glowing eyes develop in the figure, and with one spectral hand it draws the sword from Sharam's sheath and holds it up. The sword speaks.
A curious skill thou possesseth, assuredly one that shall be used to us in the tasks to come.
And Carlos says, Cryptis and its secrets.
I am Swarsinius, king of the Crimson Vale.
Raoul says, Forgive me, but was the Crimson Veil of Cryptis not destroyed over 500 years ago?
Indeed it was.
Notago crosses all four of his arms and asks, And was its ruler not human?
It was so.
Thimen again. So the Crimson King is now a Blade Wraith? Queen Clover. Some manner of ghost, I take it. And Thimen. Not at all. He's the blade itself. The figure is simply a magical extension of his will, conjured to moving about. And Carlos, getting frustrated, crosses his arms as well. Enough with these introductions. We're here for a reason. Let's get to it. Sharam speaks. Indeed, Carlos. That was Carlos's voice. Indeed, Carlos. Let us focus on the task at hand. Thimen, what do you need in order to alter the fog's magic? I only need to reach the source. As I have shared with Osint, I have a decent idea of where to look. I can feel its presence about 2 days' journey away from here. Once there, I'll have a much greater understanding of what we're dealing with. Father Raoul asks, Then the fog will be dispelled? Not exactly. I will alter its nature, invert its energies, so that instead of obscuring the island from the outside magical communication, the fog will become an amplifier of magical communication. Amir asks, So we'll finally be able to contact the outside world? Exactly, lad. Queen Clover says, I know this island well. I can guide us to the source, but we must be cautious. The knock-knocks are not the only dangers that we will face out there. And Carlos speaks. I care not for the dangers. My blade thirsts for the blood of those creatures. And Grammy grins, as we have learned her name, will pay for what she has done. Father Raoul says, Carlos, your anger is understandable, but we have to remain focused on our goal. The fog has to be dealt with first. Swarsinius speaks again.
Thy fervor is commendable, Carlos, but heed Raoul's counsel. The fog's magic is our primary concern. Once it is dealt with, we shall have a clearer path to our other objectives.
Sharam says, Then it is settled. Most of the encampment will remain here, but at first light we will send a party on this journey. Osint, aside from Queen Clover, you and your companions, Gillen and Luminous, are perhaps the most familiar with the dangers of this island. You work well together, and I suggest that you do so again for this mission. Thimen, you will join, of course, along with Clover, Otago, Carlos, and Father Raoul. And you have to forgive me for this because I was going to make this like a thing that I send to you guys in video form, so I'm speaking for you, Osint, on part of this. And Osint says, I believe it would be wise to include the woman that Thimen and I found in the jungle. For those who don't know, she is an amnesiac, and so far she has held greater comfort, likely little as it may be, with Thimen and I than any others here. Otago asks, Do you really think it's a good idea to take someone we don't know along with us? especially someone who could be another trickster of this wretched place. Innocent responds, "Those are my exact concerns. If she turns out to be a threat, it is better to keep her in the presence of capable warriors than have her remain here among our vulnerable allies." And Thimin says, "I second that suggestion." Sharam says, "Very well. Now we've established who will go, we'll need to talk about communication. Our sages have developed a crude version of telepathy crystals with some of the resources we found here. They aren't as compact as what we might be able to create back home, but they are attuned to one another and will help us to keep contact. It is a boon that despite the fog's interference with the outside communications, it still allows communication within the island." Clover says, "Such items will prove useful. How many have we?" 4 in total, Sharam says. He produces them from a satchel he carries. Each appears to be about 6 inches long, opaque blue crystals with a diameter of 1 inch each. Runic patterns are etched into each facet. "I will keep one, and you can decide among yourselves how to dispense the rest." Oxen says, "I will keep one with me. Perhaps Father Raoul and Queen Clover should hold on to the others." Father Raoul and Queen Clover each take the remaining collected crystals.
Howdy do.
Sharam
Hey,
says,
potato.
"All is settled then. Can we... What is that noise?" And that's where that part stops. So over the next few moments, the group within the cave witness people rush inside, bruised and bleeding from some terrible event happening
Thanks for the
outside the
resub,
cave.
dude.
Some of the more martially minded of the assembly rush forward to fight against whatever dangers await on the other side of the makeshift door, but each person running in cautions them, stay inside, and don't let them in." Minutes pass, and for some, it feels like so much longer. Luminous and Killen, your heads reel as the strange sensations in your face, your heads, your bodies dissipate. There are now tiny barbs in your skin from the little organic-looking bulbs that your saviors tossed in among you that exploded. But it seems that these very things have put an end to your intrusive, violent whims. All around you, you can see the dead. Your allies eviscerated upon the ground, some full of stab wounds, some with their eyes cut out, some disemboweled. And moments ago, it was funny to you. A few remain alive around you, thanks to the intervention of the 2 Witchblades of Wyrick. Innocent, you finally peek out of the crudely made door of Cratewood and see the light of the bonfire as it casts a scene. Terrible scene in the orange glow. The smell of blood is thick and pungent in the air as you step out, walking slowly closer to your companions. The 2 Witchblades currently at the top of the wooden barrier come down. The Muerto woman scales down easily by use of a grappling rope, and the Geist floats down in the manner that many spectral undead can. They stop before the lot of you and appear to be waiting for you to say the first words. Or perhaps they are giving you the moments you need to process all that has just occurred. What do you all do?
Me not knowing anything. Osen's not knowing anything that's going on.
Just so you know, Harris, your mic is muted. All right, go ahead, Osen.
Yeah. Not knowing anything that's going on. Who's the first person that I see?
All right, let's go. I'm going to look at Owlbear and be able to tell you that.
Yeah, I was about to ask anyways if you wanted to have the map of the area up.
Certainly do.
On the island map right now. I mean, I'm just in stunned silence looking around at the horror that just unfolded. I have... Killen has no words, and Harris still doesn't really have words for what happened last week.
But
Yeah,
right
there's nothing that can be said.
There you go.
So I've stepped through the gates.
Yeah.
And everybody in red is dead.
Yes.
Shedding that singular Dean Winchester tear.
I guess I turned to Tyrannus, formerly Born of Thunder, to say, Tyrannus, what has happened here? What has happened to our comrades?
I don't know if I truly understand what this is, but it was awful. They began to murder one another, grins upon their faces and laughter on their tongues, until these two intervened. I'm going to put some. I forgot to get actual character tokens for them, so let me do some NPC spots. I'll say that this is maybe this would be. What do I call that guy? Pestilius.
Slaughtering each other with smiles on their faces.
Yes, exactly what we had learned from those deer.
And what caused this mania?
I think it was all who took drink. Someone somehow got what those deer referred to as grinning sickness into the drink.
And all those affected are now dead? Or is everyone
No.
still at risk here?
Killen and Luminous, Flies with the Raven, that whole group. Mahir, I believe, maybe some others around them. They were infected. But look there. 2 witchblades from Wirrick. They threw in a kind of grenade that dispersed something and stopped this madness. If only they had been here sooner. Please, I need to talk to my brother.
Yes, please.
Meanwhile, Flies with the Raven is just in tears and kind of, I'm holding her as she's wailing in terror and sorrow at what.
I have to step away for a second, but Osint is just kind of standing at the ready, and he's going to start making his way over to the Witchblades. I'll be right back.
So as Flies with the Raven is holding you, just shaking. You know that in the past, whenever she's had strong emotions, they always lead to anger, even when she's feeling these frustrations and sadness. It tends to be more of an anger that comes out than any grief. And she just looks around and says, "Who? What? How?"
I don't know. It was so sudden. And I felt so, and I just shudder. I can't bring myself to describe how I felt while infected.
It was
Whoever did this has to answer for it.
welcome, Kyle.
Hey, how's it going?
So we essentially just started.
Cool. Would this be an okay time? Because I realized I didn't bring any water up here.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
My bad.
And Flies with the Raven looks over toward, let's see, who brought that out?
Who did what?
I have to check something. I forgot who brought out the I'm just going to assume it stands with the meadow, the head. So it stands with the meadow in her hand. There was the head of the gnome that was sent as a message.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about
He looks over at the head that right now stands in the meadow, is holding this withered red-cap gnome's head that you can smell the stench off of it intermingling with the smell of the blood out here. And she says, "No, I know exactly who did this. The thing that you've been talking about, this hag. You told me that you went and killed this guy. You beheaded this thing, right?"
Yeah.
And you were told by, I don't know, you said it was a dryad that said that this hag would be upset about that? So it was her.
Yes.
It had to have been her, but how did she do it?
I don't know. It was in the drink, and I don't know if she magically put it there or she has others working for her.
I'm so tired of everything going wrong here.
It seems like the only people who would know are probably dead already. Manouche was the one who made the drink.
And he died. I don't understand any of this. Luminous Mahir walks over, holding his side. Little chunks of stone have sort of fallen off of his face and his side from injuries he sustained. And he puts his hand on your shoulder. You kind of jump back a little and,
"Oh, my boy, I am sorry. How are you feeling? This is a terrible turn of events. Just being here alone is a terrible turn of events, but please, tell me. Are you... Obviously, none of us are well. None of us are having a good night at this point. But you're pale. Are you well?"
What's wrong with your legs?
Kyle, can you hear us?
Oh,
you're muted.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, my daughter came in.
No worries. So, Luminous, how do you respond to Mahir asking you how you are?
I'm muting myself for a second. Be right back.
I'm very confused and distraught, witnessing all these people that I've gotten to know over the last several days, weeks, but also not being able to understand what happened to me, knowing that I was affected and helped cause damage to people. Luckily, the one person I attacked lived, and hopefully will heal soon. But still, just can't imagine how I would have felt without it.
You look over and see Rises with the Sun. His head has been put out now from the fire, but you see severe burning scars all over the side of his head.
Yeah.
And he's used some of his own magic to try to soothe some of that pain and heal, but the scars remain.
Yeah. Don't. Just depression, sadness. Don't know what else there is to say. Because at the same time, I'm sad that I know him and I caused that to him, but at the same time, I also did it to protect someone else because I saw that they needed help. So it's like part of me feels sad to see that and witness it, but also part of me doesn't feel as guilty and understanding like he was not in his right head space. And I would assume that he would do the same thing to me if I was trying to hurt someone. At least I would hope he would to try to save the other people. Because like as we've been here on this island, as you can tell, nothing good happens here.
You're absolutely right about that, boy. Everything that has happened here has been awful. Even the thing that I've taken so much pleasure in lately in understanding more about the Arginian tablet, it doesn't feel like it matters right now. As if maybe I could have done more to be less invested in that which I was trying to be so focused on. Maybe I could have seen what Anoush was up to, or whatever was happening here.
I don't think it was Anoush. From my
But it was the ale, though. That
I'm there. It has. I know it was the ale, but at the same time, from our interactions with Anoush, unless he was against us the entire time, I feel like something else happened. It's a weird place. Somebody could have put magic on it for all we know. Or it got spiked, or like something we grabbed, but it just happened to do it. Like maybe that's how what's the thing? Is it Smiling Panther? No. But maybe with the Smiling Panther, like maybe there's a flower or something or whatever. It could be just out in nature that it uses to give people the grinning sickness.
I suppose that could be true. Maybe I just want it to be easy in my head to believe that someone did it and that they're now gone and no longer a threat. But yeah, I'm afraid you're right.
Seeing the gnome head, I don't think this is the end. This is only the beginning.
As you see a few people walking out of the cave now, you see that a lot of the people that were in a kind of meeting, minus the box, that doesn't belong there, start to come out and see if I can grab them all.
Don't mind me.
No worries.
Stress eating from this, and then
I'm back.
we went and saw the new Twisters movie.
Oh, nice. How was it?
It was good.
Very good.
Yeah, I think we're gonna try and go see that soon.
Oh, baby, oh baby, we're back.
Hey Sam.
Yeah, it was good. I felt great because from my neck of the woods, just wetted me a little bit. Some of the people from Arkansas, so still in it. They made a reference to my alma mater.
What movie did you see?
I went and saw Twisters.
Yeah, fine. Oh, was it good?
I enjoyed it.
It looks
Did
really good.
Did you ever see the original?
I actually haven't.
Long time ago, I have.
Well, I have it on DVD if you want to watch it, which is not so shocking.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, so I was worried that it was just gonna be like a pure sequel to it, but like there's, besides the fact that it's tornadoes in Oklahoma, it doesn't really talk about. It's nothing related to the original movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar in like the plot, but it's very entertaining. Have some moments.
Good.
So going from that to the trauma, reliving the trauma from killing everyone last week, this is going great on my Friday night.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Since everyone walks out and sees all this carnage and takes it in, there's a great silence that passes. Innocent, you get closer. Tyrannus goes over to you, Killen, and just doesn't really speak. He just sees both you and flies with the raven and puts his hands on both of you, and you all are kind of in a vague embrace there with one another. Osint, you see these two seem to be waiting to be spoken to.
I think also just as a little added side flavor, Osint probably would have, as he was going out of the cave, looked for the woman just to make sure she wasn't
you saw
the
her
one that was
cave. Right.
actually
You saw her
killing
in the
people.
cave with you guys. And you saw as everybody was running in, there was basically a parcel in the middle of the room that I don't remember who exactly it was from last week, so I'm going to assume it was Stands in the Meadow, because that's what I'm 50% sure about that. But Stands in the Meadow, a dwarf girl from Titania, walked over and picked it up and looked in it, and then walked back out and brought it out here. And now that you see that she still has it in her hands, you see that it is the head of the gardener. And you piece together that this was a message, and this is the recompense that was promised by Grammy Grins when Cassifia said she wouldn't be happy about you killing her gardener.
Yeah.
But yes, you see that the Mantiki woman was in the cave with the group that ran inside when they were doing that. She was out earlier, but she is alive and as timid as ever when you were going by.
So I guess I go over to the Witchblades and kind of say, thank you for intervening when you did. I don't know what we would have done if we lost everyone, although this cannot at all be counted as a win. As many as that I see that are dead.
The Geist man speaks and says, think about how he says this.
Yes. Difficult times and all that. We're here to speak with your leadership.
And as this is heard, Sharam walks forward this way and rises with the sun, looks forward this way, and Sharam says, that would be me then. I represent the Seekers here, and this over here is rises with the sun. And you can see his face is very severely burned. And but he still approaches, and he's clearly in a lot of pain. He seems like he has his hand up here with a slight sort of warm green glow that he's constantly using on his head to soothe this pain. But he nods and introduces himself as well. And Pestilus almost interrupts them both and says,
No, not who you call your leaders. We're here to talk to the only people in your groups who seem to be getting anything done. You.
He looks at you, Osint.
The Jiva. And the Jinn.
We will certainly speak with you. We have no qualms with that, but there is hierarchy here that we must respect.
You are free to respect who you want. I will respect who I respect.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Sharam seems to be preparing to say something, but stops and sort of nods to you.
Is Sharam carrying Sorsinius now?
He is. He's got him at his side. Sorsinius is just in his blade form.
Yeah. Who was carrying him before? Did that person die?
Amir did for a little while, and Sharam and Amir are the two people that have sort of shared carrying him.
Gotcha.
Luminous and Killen, you hear this as the Geist says that they're only interested in speaking with you three. So what do you two guys do?
First, I told Baroness to take care of Flies with the Raven and vice versa. And I will step over here, but I invite Rises with the Sun to stay.
Okay. So you insist on Rises with the Sun staying. Okay. And Luminous?
I just walk over because I don't really care about everybody else. I do, but I don't.
Yeah. You're just looking around like, where is Mac?
I already know Mac ditched him. He's fine, so I'm good. I'm good. Mac's gone.
All right. So Pestilius first introduces himself. He says,
"Call me Pestilius. This is Ivy. We request an audience with the three of you. And by virtue of our goodwill, we will allow each of you to choose one person to come with you, but not of these people you call your leaders.
If you insist on these not coming with us, then we will pick others. But I am.
He's having a time right now. Sorry.
It's all right.
Oh, it's all right. Long story short, I grudgingly acquiesce.
Okay.
Do you wish to speak at another location?
Yes. We are taking you to our coven. They are not far.
So none of the Witchblades came to the caves with us?
No.
No. We still don't know how they've been able to like make themselves have this sickness at night so they can travel through the night and not get attacked.
Yeah.
We know they lose part of their mind and some of them go crazy. But not all of them. I don't know how. That's correct, Morgan. I haven't read your whole document yet.
More or less.
So, all three of us need to pick someone.
I go and get Taranis. I don't say this to Pestilius, but not only obviously do I trust Taranis, but because I recognize him as leadership because he's a rank above me, a great shaman. He is kind of my loophole here that I'm not bringing an elder, but I am bringing someone who is an advisor to our people. But I don't give that away to Pestilius for as much as he knows. He's just my friend.
Yeah.
I actually motioned to Themin.
Okay. Themin comes forward.
Themin, would you accompany us to speak with the Witchblades?
But if there's anything I've learned at this point, it's that I want to be as well informed as I can. So absolutely.
Yes, I think that you should have the knowledge that we have at this point.
I'm torn between 3 people.
If you bring Max, they'll help me.
I can't.
He whistles. He
Max
whistles.
escaped with Tobias Wolf.
Max is gone. I don't know what you're talking about.
Tobias was like, "Yeah, we're not
Like,
going to
he's
go
like-
in the we're not going to go in the death cave."
I forgot they jumped the fence and
They
left.
jumped the pitch and ditched us, so Max gone and probably dead. No, so
He
I'm
pulls out a
narrowing-
dog whistle.
So I have
Can I have 1 GP from my? Can I have 1 gold from my background so that I can have a dog whistle?
so,
Yeah.
so 2 of them are from my people I know well. 1 of them I don't think I know very well. So and they're all mages or all sages. So you have Mahir, Maya, who I went to school with and was able to bring back. What's his name? I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Plays head back so we can talk to him. Or Baram, who's a battle sage. I feel like we need some magic fighting powers. Or magic in general. So, which one of those 3 would you guys take? Because I'm not
I
sure.
mean-
I mean, either them, we have, Kyrie, who we've gone into caves with before. I would think I would ask one of them from Cyprus. I don't trust Carlos at all, so he has a killer mustache.
Yeah, he's a little hot-headed.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're asking me, I would say either Mahir or Kiri,
Yeah.
because we've actually done things with them,
Yeah.
and Mahir especially because you have so much experience with him.
Yeah.
But
That's what I
those would be my choices of your people if you're
Yeah.
asking.
I think that's where I was learning as well. So I asked Mahir to come over here with us,
Yes, my boy.
and
Hey, come me here.
the dad joke.
Got him.
I told him the whole thing.
Oh, yes, of course. I'm very interested to learn more about the culture of the Witchblades.
I like this guy.
All right.
Well, he did. He absolutely destroyed Agatha, if you recall.
Oh, I forgot
When
about that.
He 2 fingers straight into her eyes,
Yikes.
blinded her.
Well,
I
he
also
was
felt
under
bad
the
for Agatha.
influence.
Yes, because
just-
it says blinded, alive, dead, all caps.
Morgan, just to ask, because there are still some people outlined in red. I want to just make sure everyone is cured right now from what we experienced, right?
Correct. All the reds are deads.
Okay.
All right. So, Pistilius and Ivy nod at one another, and Pistilius says,
Good. Come with us, please. This will not take long to get there.
and they just lead ahead, and they lead you outside of the gates, and you follow for a short ways, and this is night at this point, so their heads are on a swivel. They're looking around as you're continuing to go. I'm gonna move everybody out here so we can see what the whole group looks like. All right, so as you're going, do you guys want to speak among one another in this little amount of time that you have before you get to where you're going?
Sure.
Also, you can get your any health back that is missing at the moment. Anything other than skill points.
We get our roll. It's a no skill point. That's unfortunate because I am pretty low.
We're gonna go through another several weeks where we don't actually get a long rest at all.
Can I use my sanctuary staff real quick?
Just take a quick nap there on the ground.
Can I take 4 hours?
You will be able to rest when we get there.
Okay, fine.
We are defended where we are.
All right. If nobody has anything specific to say to one another,
I do ask. I'm not feeling like talking a whole lot, but something has piqued my curiosity. I asked our Witchblade would be hosts. You said you were interested in speaking with the leaders here and mentioned us because we were the ones getting things done.
Yes.
How do you know who we are and what we've accomplished? You've not been around us.
The Eye.
Did you say the eye?
Thanks for clearing that up. That was helpful.
You will see.
I look at Killian and I'm just like, did he say the eye?
Are any of us familiar with the inner workings of the Witchblade?
No.
Out of you guys, you could all make a roll with penalty to see if you know anything about this.
I got a 2. I'm gonna go with no. I know they're called the Witchblade.
I also got a 2.
I got a 20.
What? A 20?
I got a 20. Yes.
Wow. 20 out of 6,
what
huh?
do I somehow magically know about the Witch?
How did you get a 20?
How'd you get a
6?
20 out of 6?
Oh, what?
You're using 6-sided dice.
I didn't hear you say 6. I'm sorry.
No. I mean,
We don't use
D20s.
D20s.
I picked up the wrong die. I'm sorry.
How many 6s did you roll?
How many times have you been rolling the D20?
No, I haven't. Ezra had my dice the other day, and they all just got put back in the same place. And I just, out of instinct tonight, picked up.
I'm choosing to believe that you've been rolling a D20 for weeks, but just getting really terrible
rolls. Just 5s and 6s all the time. You're like,
oh, it's just a 6.
All right. It's still a 5. It's a 5. At penalty, 5.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
On a D6, 5.
So you know that the covens of the Witchblades, which are their essentially leadership groups, are made up of generally 3 individuals with very dark powers that they share in a kind of dark sorceress bond with one another. And for these in particular, just from murmurings you've heard on the island and things you've learned, especially in the first days you were here, you know that this coven operates under the names of the mouth, the hand, and the eye. And the eye supposedly has some capabilities of seeing well beyond what ordinary people can see. And that must be what Postilius is talking about.
I probably don't have time to explain all of that to Luminous right now, so I kind of just shrug.
oh.
Because I don't know how it all works.
I assume you say something along the lines of, you'll know soon, and I'm like, bet.
So it's about a 15-minute walk for you guys. And you come across a place where there's the fog, the mist is a little heavier, and it's obscuring an area where the ground is getting a little marshier here. But it's sort of in an open glade, so there is a little bit of light coming in, dispersing among the fog and the particles of moisture in the air. And as you walk through this fog, you're kind of getting to the point where your feet and your boots, whatever kind of shoes you're wearing, sink a little bit into the ground, get a little bit wet, and you see there is just a cottage sitting there in the middle of a sort of swampy wetland area. And this cottage is very rustic, made of stone and mossy growths on top of the thatched roof with some wood and a very simple door. It doesn't look like much. It seems pretty small. Bastilia says,
We're in here.
and he goes and he opens the door up, and it is just darkness inside. It looks like you can't actually see anything inside until perhaps you go through the doorway. And he says,
Each of them want to talk to a different one of you. Osint. The Eye wants to speak with you.
Whoa. Whoa.
Luminous. The Mouth wishes to speak with you.
That checks out.
Killen. The Hand. You may choose to take your ally in with you, or to leave them here. They were for our protection on the path. We will stay out here with whoever is left outside.
I tell Tyrannus to that I've got it. I kind of want
trust
him.
you, brother.
Yeah, it is a baby moon.
Keep an eye out for us.
I will. Put in a lot of faith in a sinewy old fellow now, aren't you?
You're still you.
I turn to Thimen and I say, Thimen, I would appreciate your counsel if you would accompany me to see the Eye.
I'm not going to say no to this invitation. Very curious.
I look at Mahir and go, what you want to do? You want to go? Or you want to stay? It's up to you, my friend. And like,
Well,
look at him.
Quite very interested in seeing what's going on inside, that is for sure.
Then we're going in together.
Oh, right. Very good. Oh, what a time to have just survived a terrible thing. All right. So, I separate you guys out here, and we're assuming that this is, well beyond what this space is. So I'm just going to put the...
We're at least 10 meters past the gate.
Yeah, so I'm going to put the other scene up real quick. All right. So I will let you guys choose what order based on what you would like. There's another baby. Whoever feels like it would be expedient to start. If anybody has any preference.
I can go first.
Who?
I said I can.
Okay.
Go for it.
All right. So,
Where
Luminous,
are we at right now?
you walk into this doorway with Mahir right behind you, and the darkness immediately fades into your vision, dissipates, and this thing that looked like a simple cottage on the outside is more like a mansion on the inside. It's made of the same kind of material, but you see the witch blades here, some in little bunks, some in sitting around using their whetstones to fix things up on their material and their equipment. And I'm going to go ahead and reveal to you every witchblade image for all of you. So I can get some goodies here.
I wonder what Titus looks like. That's such a good name.
Which one?
Titus.
I haven't.
All right, so
Augustus is pretty dope too.
let's see. First, we're going to get.
He looks pretty cool.
Very cool.
Hanging. Just
Sorry, what are we looking at right now?
showing. If in the reference sheet, I'm putting all the Witchblade images up.
Titus, I was expecting more from you.
Now, Augustus.
Augustus looks dope, but I hate that he
Augustus
has snakes on him.
Augustus Glue.
I hate the snakes. I'm gonna be honest.
And then Gamarogosaurus or Gom.
Wow.
Is that a type of mushroom?
It's a fungal folk. Yep.
I was talking about his name. Like, did you just pull?
Oh no, that's
an
just the. It's a bunch of sounds.
Like, I would have been hilarious to me if you like found a very
Look, a
obscure
human.
fungus and just used as his name.
Phyllosaurus.
Oh, I don't like Violet. She's kind of creepy.
All right. Yeah, as you walk in, you see a red cap, and the last red cap you saw, you were like,
Yeah. Jump a little bit.
right.
Gom looks like a fun guy.
You all get a point of XP for that.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
All right, so.
Telling them was a joke.
So you walk in and you are brought over. So the Postilius stays outside. The person that greets you is Marcus, a human here with these tattoos on his face. He says, "Please come right this way. You're luminous, is that right?"
Yes, sir. Who are you? I reach out to shake my hand and shake his hand.
He kind of looks at your hand and looks at you, and then he goes ahead and he does shake it and says, "Marcus Catonius."
Marcus, it's a pleasure. I'm digging the symbols on your face. Big fan.
Word? Thanks, man. All right.
That's my guy right there. That's my guy.
Yeah, you got to keep things fresh around these parts because some of these people, you know, you're not gonna hear it from me all the time. So I try to keep it on the DL as much as I can, but
Bro, no
they
cap.
can really they can chill the vibes like nothing. I'm telling you.
Bro, I'm right there with you. These people I've been with, I've been having to like keep my slang down because they just look at me like an idiot, and I'm like, clearly you are because you don't know what I'm saying.
Nah, man, you're dope. I can tell. All right.
For real? Bro,
For real.
Bro, you the goat.
Oh, gee. Absolutely. All right. Let's go. Come this way. And
Found his
Me and
people.
What is happening?
Me and Marcus are best friends. Isn't it obvious?
He leads you. He says, "So as I understand it, you're meeting with one of the big three here, and the mouth in particular. The mouth, just to give you some info for this little powwow you're gonna have. If I were to say any one of these was really the leader, I would absolutely say it's her. That's not an official statement, but you might understand a little bit of the nature of what you're getting into here."
Good to know.
Right. Good luck. As he leads you to this door. And here it says, "Oh, this is absolutely fascinating. It's so much bigger on the inside. Look at all these fellows. There's a lot of red in here." And And
I look at Marcus and be like, my boy right there.
he's like, word up, all right, man. And so he leads you to this door in the center. There's 3 doors at the back of this area, after down a hallway, 2 on the sides, 1 in the front, and this one has this emblem of a crow or a raven on it. And you go in this door, and the same thing kind of happens where you can't really see anything until you pass inside. And if you look up, if you look up on the Witchblades of Wirrak thing, this harpy woman is the woman that you see, Volcatia.
Okay.
She's the Coven Mouth. She is standing behind a basin full of some kind of dark liquid that doesn't really look like blood, but you can't be sure it's not. And there are 4 chairs in this room. Nobody else is in this room except for all of you. She's standing up in front of one.
Is it the two? It's me, Mahir, her, or is Marcus also in there?
Marcus is not, just you.
Okay.
Just you and Mahir and she.
So why are there 4 chairs?
And so, she.
I feel like that's a very Illuminous thing to do. Is ask is like.
Do you ask that out loud?
I'm not gonna.
Are we waiting for someone else?
She says,
Come closer.
Yeah, so I walk closer. I'm like, okay, sounds good. Luminous is gonna trust her way too much, and I probably should, but it's fine.
And you, well, sit.
Mahir says, oh, very well.
I like stand there and pause for a second and be like, with her, and she has wrapped in her eyes, like, how did she know he was a car?
Approach me.
Like double taking as I walk up to her.
It is customary that one meeting one of our station gives something in tribute. That is a nice emblem, token, pendant, necklace that you carry with you. I'll give you a choice. That, something of equal value, or kiss my hand.
I go for the kiss on the hand.
You grab her hand, go down, do that, and it's very cold and wrinkly and sinewy, and it's like you can see the bones, every bone through her hand. And you get a chill when you do it. It feels weird. And
very well. I suppose you don't know why I have brought you here, do you?
No, ma'am.
Well, for the lot of you, we have interest in knowing more about you. We already do know some, as you can tell. All of our people know your names. Some of our people know the things you have done. But the 3 of us in the Coven have seen much of what you've done. You could call us impressed, or you could call us taking note. But tell me, what do you feel after all that has just happened to you and your encampment?
Sadness. Frustration. Fusion.
And what are you going to do about what happened?
Well, I have a pretty good idea of who did it. So, probably going to go after them.
Identify them.
I tell them who I think it is.
Grammy Grins. You know, when people first were arriving on the island and they were seeking counsel from us, we told them some lies about what we believed this island could be, some place between the dreamscape and the sylvan wilds, because we did not want them to know the things that we knew. We know better now what it is than we knew before. But sometimes you can use lies to trace what people know and what they intend to use against you, and we have done just that. But as for you, I want to give you not lies, but truth. But the truth I have is valuable. And let me at least whet your appetite to this truth, because it concerns you more deeply, you, Luminous, more deeply than you may have ever expected before you came here. I need to ask you first if you are confident you want this gargoyle in the room with you.
I stand there. I look at Mahir. And I say yes. Because
Very well.
up to this point, I have no reason not to trust them.
And prepare to hear what I have to say. What I am going to tell you involves where you come from, and why those things, those people you call your parents, are no friends of yours. And the professor has never been a friend to you either. Though they do play a part. Tell you exactly where you came from and they are hiding it from you. It will become a burden. But it is a burden that you need to have the choice of knowing. And if you want to know it, I can tell you in great detail.
One just looks at her and kind of is just like in shock. Because like he knew he was adopted, but didn't really know he was adopted. Like it never really was discussed. Like he knew he was adopted, but never thought it was anything more than like family took him in. And then with this professor being his actual guardian now. And then thinking about the totem that I have to save my friend. Like, is it actually going to save her? Like, all this is going through his mind. And then he says, I want to hear.
Then you must give something to me first. No, don't rummage through your bag. That is not what I mean.
Yeah.
You are going to hear difficult things from me. And if you want to hear them, these are my terms. Make a pact with me.
What's the pact?
We bind our souls. You and I. If one is killed, so is the other. But it is not all gloom. I will be able to empower you should a time arise in which you need such a thing.
How old is she?
To you, she looks like she could be 500 years old.
Yeah, like
She's
because like part of Luminous' thought is like, does that include natural causes? And so like, if she dies from natural causes, do I die then as well at a much younger age? Like, theoretically, could I die like in 10 minutes? Like that's what Loomis is going through his mind because like he wants to know the bond soul thing. Kind of creepy, but he also knows that the witchblades are kind of creepy.
fear not about natural age. I will not die of any means other than being killed.
Luminous just looked at her and was like, "How do you know what I'm thinking?"
You have a very expressive face.
That's fair. Luminous agrees to the pact.
Give me your hand. She opens her mouth and this like gross, almost bony black tongue comes out of it. And she grabs your hand, like licks across the palm, and it wraps around. And it's cold and strange. And she puts her thumb on your forehead. And you get these sort of sounds that fill up your ears. I'm not sure where exactly they come from. They seem to not be emanating from her exactly. But then you feel this sort of icy chill in your center. And you feel something has changed here. You suppose perhaps that is the sensation of having a soul bound to another person. Her tongue unravels back into her own mouth. And you knew that harpies were creepy in general, but harpy witches are far creepier now. And she says, "Good. Now we can speak. You should know that my bond is not only with you, but my coven as well. If harm comes to any of them, we are under the same effect."
Wait, what did you say?
I am bonded not only to you, but those in my coven. So harm will be shared. Know this.
So is that just like the entire group of witchblades?
Not the witchblades, just the coven. The eye,
Gotcha.
the mouth, and the hand.
So I'm connected to all three of them now.
Yes.
Okay. Following you.
There is human ancestry in you. It is far down the line, but it is there. And you are an heir of Crimson Vale. You are royalty, Luminous. Equal in right to the throne of Crimson Vale as Sorsenius. And I do know that Sorsenius travels with you. But perhaps you did not.
Wait, say that one more time. I'm sorry. I was trying to look something up.
She essentially says you are royalty.
Yep.
You are equal in line to this throne of a place called Crimson Vale as Sorsenius. And she says she's not sure if you knew that Sorsenius was traveling with you. He is the Blade Wraith. And I don't know that your character actually was aware. You might have been.
I think I did.
Okay, yeah.
I think I had one interaction at the very beginning.
Okay. I tell you this because you are equal in heir to the throne. He is trying to rebuild his kingdom, and you cannot allow that to happen. I would rather a pig sit on the throne of the Crimson Vale than that man. And you are the only other person who can. So I will admit you were not the choice I was hoping for.
She just called you a pig.
I know. I'm not thrilled about it.
Do you know what a throne of destiny is?
No.
I will give you the short version. There are certain prophecies that regard the end of the world, and thrones of destinies are those that are promised to be at the end of the world, kingdoms and seats of kingdoms that the prophecy says will remain. Everyone believes that Crimson Vale is gone forever, but because it is in this prophecy of the end of the world, it means that someone must sit in it by that time. We do not know when the end of the world comes, but according to this prophecy, whoever is in the throne at those times that the end of the world happens get to go on to the new world with all that they choose in their kingdom to go with them. You have an opportunity, if the world should end, to save all that you would wish to save. If Sorsenius is prevented from gaining his throne.
So he's a part of my bloodline, essentially?
You are descended of Sorsenius.
Oh, yes, got it.
You seem to be taking this better than I might have imagined.
Maybe it's just the shock factor, but I mean, I don't know him very well, so I mean, if you say he's awful, I guess he's awful. I don't know. And I mean, yeah.
Very well. If Sorsenius knows that there is another potential heir to the throne,
He'll try to
if
kill
he
me.
knows it is you, he will try to kill you.
Yeah.
You must kill him first.
How do I kill him?
That I do not have an answer to.
That's unfortunate. But thank you for sharing this with me.
Do you have any children?
No, not yet.
That could be good, that could be bad. If you did, and he did not know about them, they could then take your place for that throne. But if he knew about them, he would certainly try to kill them as well.
How do my
We are
parents?
bound now.
I was going to ask, how do my parents and the professor, how are they involved in this? Do they know?
They know parts of things. For whatever reasons, I cannot say. But they do not want you to realize your destiny. They are agents, not ordinary people.
Well, that's
And the
awful.
professor, I do not know his schemes. But his guardianship, that too is part of it. Perhaps they are in league with Sorsenius in some way. I would doubt so, because it seems Sorsenius does not know about you. Nonetheless, we are bound. Perhaps, as a result of this bond, I can help you to do what you have to do. We will speak more of this. You have had a day full of blood. Have a seat and rest if you must. Think as you will.
Thank you for your time.
Alright, so as we move on, which of the other two of you would like to take a...
Not see that coming.
Go for it, Harris.
Do it.
So, Harris, you go in alone. You are met by, again, this boy, Marcus Catonius. He's sort of a younger guy. He leads you to a doorway, and on this doorway, an image of 3 crossed swords are on it. And says, "Here you are, this one is yours." You're speaking to the hand.
Thank you. Is there anything I should know going in? Any protocol or etiquette?
Definitely something we're missing a part of.
Be who you are. I think that's what you need to do.
Thank you.
As you go in, you meet there in a room that looks more like a war room with maps laid out of various kinds that have been tried to be sketched out of places on the island they have gone to, with a chessboard over in the corner of the room, some books and scrolls and things in the space nearby, and this man with an armory behind him, a lot of different weapons, and this hand being the first thing that you notice about him, being sort of overgrown and possessed of dark power, and the side of his face being like that of a Fadir person. It's very common for them to have one half of their face sort of grotesque and strange. His hand is different than what you might expect, and it glows with this eerie green energy. And he looks at you, with a very stern look in his eyes, and says, "Bow lowly as you can."
I bow and I say, thank you for the invitation, Lord Hand. What should I call you?
He kind of sighs and call me Lucius, Otho. They've had quite the day, I understand.
Yes, sir.
And how was the party?
If it's all the same, I'd like to not talk about it right now.
Is that?
Sorry, what?
And why is that? You never
The
seen
party
blood before?
was. I've seen my fair share. The party should have been a day of celebration. In fact, for myself, and I lost many that I cared about today, on a day that should have been joyous, and I'm just not prepared to discuss it.
So much to care about people, why do it?
That is a deep question, and I'm no philosopher. But
I can see that.
as I understand, and in my experience, it's hard, but it gives life meaning.
Ah, so their meaning so far, what is it? All those people that just died in your camp at your party. What was the meaning of that?
Is there something you wanted to invite me here to talk about, other than the meaning of my friends' lives?
Yes, and you seem quite hesitant to talk about it. When did Titanians become so soft. You know, your people weren't always like this. Back before you were all gathered together in your giant kumbaya that you've all decided to have. You used to be warfarers. You used to go after the things that mattered.
What things do you have in mind? In my experience, my people are still great warriors.
I'm sure you'd call yourselves that. Why aren't you allowing yourself to feel what you're supposed to be feeling right now? There's a
I
hunger
wasn't feeling it.
And tell me about it. Tell me about that hunger inside you. That thing that you have to feed. Tell me about your anger.
I didn't say I didn't feel it. I said I was not prepared to talk to you about it.
On some kind of
I'm
principle,
angry.
then?
No, not principle. Just fresh, and I don't trust you.
So that is the first thing that I've really understood about what you've said so far. That's the first thing that's made any sense. I can understand distrust. I can understand anger. And I have uses for anger. And we have uses for you if you can muster the anger that you should be feeling. You are infected. And that thing, that egg sac that we've developed, that burst to give you this temporary relief, that's not going to last forever. You want to know one of the biggest truths that we've discovered about this plague? Is that it cannot be cured. We've got our sorceress, an Insidian woman. She's made some things for us. These little crawling creatures out of leeches. You know what Insidians do? They take any kind of animal or person that they can find and try to make them look more like spiders. Try to give them more legs, give them more eyes, whatever they can do, because they believe that spiders are some perfect form. So she's been useful to us because she found a way to make insidious leeches that have been able to extract the blood of these things that we're calling knock-knocks and alter the way that it affects us with a bit of fey magic here and there. She's done the most that can be done for this illness. I'll tell you the truth about why we're here. The eye speaks in mysterious ways, the mouth speaks other kinds of mysteries, and I care about getting a job done. I'm the hand, which means I get things done. That's one of the things that I heard about you as well. I know you're doing these kinds of things out there. I didn't know that you didn't have quite the spine that I was hoping for, but nonetheless, you are my option. You're infected, and you need to help us to ensure that you can live. And therefore, you are going to do a job for us. We are going to trap, capture, and harvest knock-knocks so that we can continue to create this remedy. We're going to take every single bit of them and create leech pitches. And the part that comes in that I need you to use your anger for is to help us do it. But I need to ask you, the knock-knocks, these things that serve the scrammy grains, do you want them to die or do you want them to suffer?
It doesn't really matter to me one way or another.
Well, I can work with that, I suppose. But you don't want them to live. Not as they are.
Of course not.
Right? So we've got it. We need to get after this. That's why you're going to help us. And you're going to be on the front lines of this. Because you, so I have been told, so I have been led to believe, do know how to fight.
I do know how to do that.
Well, then at least perhaps we can find this moat of respect between each other. I don't care if you respect me, but it is wise to earn mine.
I just kind of grin and chuckle.
So, we're attacking tomorrow. Are you going to be there?
That's the first time you've actually asked me anything. And that's all you had to do.
The baller freight line right there.
I'll be there.
So, as he hears that, he nods. And he takes some item from back behind his desk. There's this sort of war desk area. He looks at it for a moment. He says, one more thing. Tell me about the tree. Why do you want it to live?
I don't actually think you would understand that.
Maybe not. But perhaps I could convince you with this. I have a vested interest in seeing it live as well.
Oh, yeah?
How can I help you ensure that it does?
There are items that I need from across the island. My time has been a little more used for other things than I'd like them to have been used for the last few days. Get me these items, or at least help me get them. And I can ensure the tree lives to the best of my ability.
He takes some parchment and a quill from nearby. He says, tell me what you need. And so as we move on from that one for the moment, we go over to Osenth's area. So Osent, you and Thimin are led to a door. And this one has just a triangle on it. It's very lax in any ornamentation. And you're led to it by the same young man. It's opened for you. As you pass through, you end up in a space that has a circular pool of water surrounded by cobblestones in the middle. And it almost seems like there are no walls here, like it just stretches on in this fog forever. It's different than the outside fog, just this sort of gray space. And as you sort of peer into it, it almost looks like they're very thin little trees standing up all the way through, and each one in sort of just perfectly linear pattern in every direction. And as you go in with them, and on the reference sheet, Carvilla, the Coven Eye, is there. She's a Fey deer, and right in the top of her head, there's this other sort of red-skinned eye place, where another eye, a third eye, looks around, and it blinks independently of the others, and that one is focused in on you, and she has her other eyes closed, and she's sitting down at the edge of the pool, running her fingers back and forth through it. And as this top eye never looks away from you, and it goes between the two of you, she opens her other eyes, all green of different hues, and says, "Please, come sit."
I find
Morgan, are we wrapping up after this conversation?
Yeah, we'll wrap up after this.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and bow out then.
Okay.
Later.
All right.
See you, man.
Have a good one.
Bye.
I find a spot next to the pool of water and gesture for Themin to also join me, and I sit across from her.
She stares at you for a while, stares at Themin. Themin does the same, and you see the little sort of flash of a light in Themin's eye as he's absorbing what he can about the nature of this room. But he furrows his brow as if he's having difficulty really seeing anything. You won't be able to peer into this place like you peer into other things. It is well protected, I'm afraid. Well, I suppose that makes sense. If you're going to have a creepy room within a creepy cottage, you're going to try to protect your secrets. You're a creepy bunch of people, you know. So you've been told. She returns her attention to you. What do you think is going to happen here?
The events of the last few hours, I'm not entirely sure why you've summoned us, to be honest. You saved, or your people saved, some of our group back in the caves, but I can't imagine what you would need from us.
There is a task at hand for which the hand will need you. As for myself and the Coven Mouth, we have other interests that are not necessarily aligned to the first or part of the first. We are here because there are tasks to be done. But we are here, you and I, because I have taken an interest in your work. That is the work that you used to do very well. Would you like me to be upfront or abandon tact?
I think candor in this kind of situation is best.
You have no need to pretend to be loyal to Cryptus anymore. put it simply, I want to poach you. I believe you could do much good with our organization. And we can give you more than just a single spy. You could continue to do things that you used to do with a greater network. And now that, as I understand it, you have changed the dynamics of the pit in a way that none of us could have foreseen, what loyalty have you to Cryptus at all? Are they not the ones that caused this harm to you in the first place?
I hold no ill will toward Cryptus or its people. Its leadership have indeed done me wrong, and loyalty has never been my issue. I was loyal to Cryptus and its king. Then loyalty was sort of thrust upon me unwillingly by another. And I have escaped that to the best of my knowledge. But it seems as if I've just been trading servitude for servitude, if you will.
Yes. So what if you had better service, using the skills that I know you enjoy using? I know many things and can see many things that ordinary people cannot. And I see the darkness inside of you. But I can see at distance as well. I know your sins, but I also can, to a point, read and understand the hearts and the intent of others, including that woman that you brought out. Would you like to know whether she is lying or whether she truly is as lost as she claims? Because it is nothing to me to find out.
This knowledge would either mean my freedom or that I'm still being manipulated. It's the only thing that I want to know right now.
We are, every one of us, being manipulated. That is the way that the gods have made this world. It is a matter of who you are willing to play the part for until you can manipulate in turn. As that is the only power that any of us have, is our influence over each other.
That may be my problem, is I'm quite jaded by the puppet mastery that's been going on in my life for the last as long as I can remember.
So how good might it feel to be the puppet master? And only puppet to few, or a few who simultaneously have expectations of you, but respect you enough to not abandon you to the pit, enough even to find ways to give you the things that you want. I will not promise that we would not do our own manipulations. In fact, I would be forthright with you and upfront. And that is the nature of the world, and we accept it. But our manipulations are not hidden to any but the common folk who cannot understand their place in it. You are more intelligent than they. So would be worth you knowing what we need and why we need you. Can you say that Cryptus has been so forthright with you? Do you truly think they have been? After all, you can't even tell them the truth about the things you have done. Would they understand? Or would they think that you willingly brought a major denizen of the pit intentionally into the world?
The only people that I can trust with the truth are the people that have been brought here with me now to your encampment. The only people that have forgiven me for what I've done and understand the pain and why I had to do what I had to do.
Do you believe Sorsinius would understand?
I think Sorsinius is power hungry and would make a wretched ruler.
Do you think Amir would understand? He is loyal to a fault to Sorsinius, after all. He's the puppet that chooses the strings.
He has not steered me wrong thus far, but I do believe if put to the test, he would choose Sorsinius, yes. If it's a partnership that you're proposing, and the payment is knowledge and truth, then it is absolutely something I will consider.
Though you have only these moments to make your decision.
Then give me the answer that I seek. Make it truthful, and I will help you. Give me my freedom that I want, or let me know what danger I'm still in.
I will show you the truth so that you can see it for yourself. She pulls her robe back and starts to unlatch parts of her armor here and puts it aside until she is in the nude and gets into the water and goes out into the center of it and says, "Walk here." And she's standing about waist high inside.
I remove just my cloak that I'm wearing with the horns on it and put it aside. I don't really care about the other stuff, and I wade into the pool with her.
And she reaches up and grabs your head, and her eye at the top of her head and her forehead looks right at you, and you feel it at this distance just peering right into you. And you sort of have this warbly, waving feeling that the room goes away for a moment. And you feel like your consciousness is moving around, swimming in the room, outside of the room, outside of the cottage suddenly. And as you're there, you realize that you have control here of whatever this space and consciousness is. And she lets you sort of move it around remotely on your own, as if you have this invisible scrying eye. And she sort of guides you all the way back to the cave. And as you go through, you see, you go by a few people, and I want you to tell me 2 people that are in the encampment, but not the woman, but 2 people that are in the encampment that you sort of linger on for a moment.
Um, my immediate, I immediately turn toward Tyrannus, sort of as a litmus test of, am I actually seeing what I think I'm seeing? Because I have a pretty good idea of what he's been through and what he may be feeling.
As you observe him, you see essentially that you see it like a visual in your face. It's like his wings, the shades of his wings are still there, like the shadowy thing that you see, but there's no spark in them, and they're withered, and it's just this constant, like, slow fall of these feathers, these shadow feathers just falling off of them. And he's there with little Clover, talking to her, and there's this overwhelming sense of dread inside of him, combating this sense that he feels a kind of freedom that feels like he's healing from something. And you don't get like the impressions of his mind and his thoughts, just these feelings in his heart that he's not upset about what's happening to him. And something about it, part of him does feel dreadful about it, but part of it is a kind of freedom. And who's the other person you need to roll?
Then I turn to, is it Amir that has
Amir? Okay.
Sorsenius?
Right now Sharam
Sharam.
hold him, but Amir does do it sometime.
No, I turn towards Sharam.
Sharam, you get the sense that he has all kinds of thoughts going through his head. Just he's very upset about what's happened here. You feel a deep sense of regret about Iraj and Zari. And as he looks around, you definitely get this sorrowful, dreadful feeling from him as well. However, there's almost this sense of, you're not sure what exactly to call it, but it's not quite relief, but this sort of dark gratitude that gives you the impression that he is so glad that it was the Titanians that mostly died and not his people.
Mm-hmm.
And that in some way he feels as if that's really not a huge loss. And then, as this conscious scrying eye hovers over this area, it reaches the woman. And there is just fear, trepidation, and uncertainty. Very powerfully, all of these things. And as you push in to try to see something, to try to get any indication that she is lying, that she is not who she is pretending not to be, you are pierced by this vision of this crown of domination that you were told about, being used throughout history at multiple places over the many, many millennia that the world has existed, where 500, 5,000, 50,000 people at one point in history were all completely subjected as thralls by the power of this helm, this crown. And you sense this thing inside of her, like it's been melded into her somehow. like the crown has become the bones by which the rest of her existence is. But you see no deceit. And your mind reels back in this sort of slurping, gross sound, and then you end up back in this space, right in front of the Fadir woman. And she says, "This is what I alone am able to do. But imagine being able to do this to some extent regularly on your own."
This is a power that I would never even dreamed of having. Although it be my occupation for as long as I can remember.
It would not be as powerful as mine, but it would be so much more powerful than anything that you have ever seen before now. You could be a great asset to the Witchblades. You would know how to use this.
If you show me how to do this, then I will do what you wish.
Good. And she sort of caresses your face there and says, "Good. Feel free to rest in our cottage as long as you and your companions need to."
What is the man's air about him right now?
He seems very interested in the entire thing. And he's sort of just sitting at the edge of this pool, cross-legged, with his hand like this, thinking. And as you turn around and look to him, he nods, not in an unapproving or disapproving way whatsoever. Just he's interested in how things are unfolding here. You know that he has no particular loyalty to anyone. His entire thing that he shared with you, his entire purpose is to get home to his family.
Okay.
And as she departs from you and walks back over to her clothing and armor, she puts it back on and begins to wrap up again. And says, "I'll be pleased to work with you. We will find you when the time is right. You have no need to tell Cryptus any of this unless you think it would be wise."
Keeping secrets from Cryptus has been my nature for years. Will not be an issue. And I do not think that most of them, leadership especially, would approve. But I do think it would be wise for you to meet with some of our leaders, that we may be aligned, because we can use the help, all the help we can get. We have our own goals as well. Getting off this forsaken island, as I'm sure you would like to as well, once whatever it is that you want has been procured. We all need to work together. Just something to consider.
It will be considered. And so the door that appears back behind you guys, and Livin is guess that's the cue that we should be moving on then. But I say, I thought that was going to get a little more awkward.
I get out of the pool and grab my cloak, and I bow to the eye, and I don't say anything else, and I walk out.
You walk out. Luminous, you've all also, at this point, you and Mahir have exited your...
I feel like I should have a conversation with Mahir about the whole situation.
Yeah, as you're walking with Mahir, you wanna talk to him?
Yeah.
Well, my boy, I certainly did not see any of that coming. Also, what is this about Sorsinius? He was a king 500 years ago. Why does she think that we are traveling with a dead man?
Yeah, it's will you promise me that you won't talk to anybody else about this?
Oh my goodness, something's about to happen. I am all ears.
Is that a yes?
Of course. Well, hold on. Let's... Yes, of course. For the sake of knowledge, absolutely.
I wish Mahir was not in that room with me now. I explained to him that the sword that Amir is carrying is Sorsinius.
I just thought that was a magical blade.
Technically, you're right.
So he's a blade wraith, then. Oh, I've heard of these. My goodness, we have run into so many different kinds of dead people lately that are still walking.
I know.
Interesting, except he's not actually dead. A blade wraith is imbued into something. They're not a dead person. What an interesting set of circumstances we found. And you, think of it. Out of all the people that could have possibly been secretly royalty.
I think I just look at him like, why does everyone keep saying it like that? I'm like, it could be a lot worse.
Yeah, well, let me put it to you this way. You are in extreme danger, but I have come to like you quite a lot. I'm very fond of you. I will admit it. Yes, you are not what anyone would expect, and that makes this fascinating. You know, there's a series of books that I really love about a detective who just, he's so unassuming to everyone. Because actually, he is in the body of a 12-year-old girl, and he has switched places with her. And anyway, it's all beside the point. Anyway, this is fascinating. I've become part of a serial mystery novel. My goodness. Okay, so here's what we're going to happen. You have to swear to secrecy that you will tell nobody about this.
I promise. I swear.
Very good. Good enough for me. I am now, for all intents and purposes, your chauffeur, your secret butler who has only your best interest at heart. I am, therefore... What is the word I am seeking? I am the steward of your secret nature. And now, together, I will become an advisor of sorts to you. Yes, this is how it's going to happen. Very good, very good.
The secret assistant to the assistant regional manager.
I'm just imagining like I'm Batman and he's Alfred right now.
So, the first question is, you have two people at least you're very close to. Are you going to reveal anything about this to them?
In due time. Not immediately, because I want to sit and think on it a little bit.
I agree entirely. We don't know where their loyalties lie.
Yeah.
What if they...
I know for sure Killian doesn't have an allegiance to him, but Osen, being an advisor, has spoken with him often, and I don't know exactly what...
Yes, that would be tricky.
Like, I would hope that after everything we've gone through, that he would help me. But at the same time, you can't be too certain at the same time.
Well, all I know about Osen is he's never done anything wrong in his life. But
yeah, he's never done anything wrong. He's a great advisor.
He's a fantastic advisor. He's just the absolute epitome of a shiny exemplar of all that is good and noble. That is my impression of him. But I do not think that we should trust that on that impression alone he is not loyal to Sorsenius.
Yeah. And also, just so you know, here, if this happens, when she was saying that I take anyone into the next land, you're gonna be right there with me.
Well, let us hope for the end of the world then. Imagine having influence on what the next world will be. I know of this prophecy. I'd never thought that it was a serious thing, but if they believe in it so dearly, they put quite a lot of stock in it. I thought it was just a small footnote in a book I was reading, but the part they didn't tell you was that not only do you get to take people into the next world, you get to have influence on the nature of the next world if you have one of these thrones.
Interesting. Did not know.
Yes, indeed. So, if I had a drink, I would raise it to the end of the world. But it does, in some way, make all these deaths seem a little less...
Well, we gotta get off the island first before we can get there. So
That's true. Well, I will be hard at work thinking about what we should do. I've almost not thought about the Arginian tablet whatsoever, but I would be lying if I said I wasn't trying to figure out some ways to apply it even while this crone was talking. Anyway, out the door we go. Yeah. And so you all sort of meet at the same time, and Killen as well is shortly behind.
Can you do a side note for a second on how like Osen and Luminous had a much better experience, like quote experience, with the Coven than
you really did.
Killian just got roasted the entire time. Poor guy.
He did.
He was also kind of in his feels still.
Yeah.
He was in his field.
Yeah.
Or it's just like.
Well, and his guy was intentionally trying to get him to like express some anger,
goading him.
Oh, absolutely.
But
who as the kids say, is it hotboxing? No.
Hotboxing.
I don't know.
I don't think that's what they say.
What was happening in that room?
There was a lot of fog in Osen's room, though. So.
Hang on. What's the word I'm looking for?
You talking about gaslighting?
Yeah. I was thinking
hotboxing.
Hey, you can see how I could make.
Hey man, stop hotboxing me.
Also, just out of character, you know, like when, in certain video games, like you'll do something and like the other NPC or something doesn't know about it, but you gain reputation with them. That's how I felt when Luminous didn't rat Osen out about and confirmed he was a good person. Somewhere in Osen's mind, Luminous got a +1 to reputation. Yeah.
Luminous definitely doesn't feel like that's his business to share, and he's like, I don't know what's going on now, because now instead of him just being a retriever trying to save his friend who's crippled, he's like, well, now I got to try to kill someone so I don't die, and also help save the future world.
I was gonna say, and also rule somehow.
Yes.
You got a lot on your shoulders.
And he's like, maybe I should. And he's like, I feel like I'm more mature than people think, because it is kind of a facade, but not a facade.
It's Luminous is getting ready to prove it.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm a king now.
Yeah, I feel like some people, they would expect like in the realm of Luminous, like if he was a king, like you look at me. Like, who was it? Like somebody at the very beginning he hit on.
Oh yeah, the Folos woman.
Yeah, but in reality, like
he's got a lot of complexity to him. It's just everybody like sees him for what he is, for what he seems to be, and they're like, oh, this kid.
Yeah. That's the point. That's what he's trying to do. He just doesn't know.
He's protecting himself. Yeah.
He's trying.
All right. So as you guys you wander back into the hall, and the same guy, Marcus Catonius, sort of leads you in that direction toward the front, and he says, "Hold on," and he calls over and he says, "Violus, I think we need a. I think we need a hit. And Violet says, "This," and that's the red cap gnome. She says, "And you want to do this here in front of all these people?" Yeah. The coven. They're approving. I think the meetings went well. Very well. He says, "All of you who are infected, come over here." And I will show you who joins up.
I assume Luminous and Cillian go over there with them.
Yeah, you can go over there if you want.
Oh, there's a lot of them infected. Oh, good. Oh, poor Marcus.
Right. So,
like half of them.
You see that she takes out this. They have a box, and it opens up this trunk and takes out this. It looks like a slimy little egg sack with like prongs and barbs in it, and she just takes out one of these barbs. For each person takes one for them and just injects themselves. And as you get closer, you just walk a bit closer, and you see inside the box it has like a little tank in it. There are these like leech things with spider legs on them, and these are absolutely insidious spiders. And some things are called insidious creatures when they are experimented on and created by the sort of sciencey magic of Insidians. And as you're examining this, realizing this is part of the process they're using to control this sickness, they give a few. They give a crate that has a bunch of these things to you guys to carry back to your camp. And Violet says, actually, instead of Violet giving it to you, you see a different woman. If you look up at the top, Scritius Severus. This woman is an Insidian woman. She has this black and white skin and all these sort of tendrils coming out from the back of her head that sort of move independently.
So where are we looking? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. You're looking at the reference sheet.
Witchblade. Yeah, the Witchblade. She's
the Witchblade is in the reference sheet.
She's right next to all the COVID.
Oh, okay. Got it.
And she looks at each of you and says, "This box is going to do you much good in the near future. But understand that this is not all that you need. You will have to be selective about who gets what and when, and hope for the best for a while until we can do what we need to do, as you were spoken to about." And she looks at Killen. And Killen says, "Yeah, we are going to talk to our people and let them know what's happening tomorrow. But if we want to survive this, we will need to capture those creatures and begin further experiments. You are dismissed." So you're given this box, and you can feel it like sludging around, this slopping inside of it. So as you all exit,
and this is basically the vaccine for the smiling sickness, is what she's giving.
Temporary one.
Yeah.
You exit. Pistolius and Ivy are there, and all of your companions are gathered together. Taranis is there as well then, and you are encouraged to return to your encampment. So as you begin to walk, we'll end it here after a few moments, but you have a chance to speak to each other if you would like.
Sure.
Luminous, how was your visit with the mouth?
Well, if yours is as weird as mine. It was interesting to say the least. She licked my hand.
I don't know. Maybe equivalently weird.
Oh, is yours naked as well?
Naked. Yours is naked.
Nothing like that. It's not what you think.
And Killen says, "Wait, you guys got naked ladies? I just got roasted the entire time."
Oh, I had this old lady that licked my hand.
It was quite something to behold. I've never seen quite a custom.
It's wild.
Perhaps we should, on our walk back, confer with one another, get our stories straight, and compare stories so that we know exactly what it is we're walking into next.
Yeah.
Dylan, at this point, says, well, I can tell you what they need us for. They're essentially demanding, they did ask eventually, that we help them tomorrow to go to the lair of the Knock-Knocks and capture them so that they can create more of these things for everybody that's infected. They need us. We might need to keep that in mind, that they seem to need us. But that's...
I think that's all we tell them.
We can tell them that's what we discussed. I think that might be a good thing to talk about here.
Yeah. I think that's the only thing we tell them.
And we don't really have a choice. They are speaking truthfully about that. If it's true that this sickness is incurable, which is what was shared with me, this is our only chance.
Well, that's news to me, so that's awesome.
Yeah, so he looks at you specifically and he said, yeah, Osint, it's a good thing that at least one of us isn't infected. Taranis, Zimin, but you, Luminous, and I, and Mahir, we all have it. So maybe the first sign of any thoughts coming back, we need to be very careful. We need to be very, very careful tonight and tomorrow, and as long as we have this. They need the Knock-Knocks to create more of this. You reach. You go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it sounds like we're gonna go fight some Knock-Knocks tomorrow.
I wonder if that is their sole goal, is to prevent the sickness, or if there's some other larger plan at work here.
Taranis asks, do you have any suspicions in particular?
None that I could say. The eye was vague at most about what was happening, and that the hand would be the one informing us of what we needed to do.
One other thing, Killen says, he asked me about the tree. He knew somehow that I want to save the gallows tree. And he said he has some kind of vested interest in doing that too. And they offered to help me gather those things that my ancestor told me would be necessary to create the weapon that can be used to save it.
We're aware that that's how Granny Grimm's and the Smiling Panther transmit stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we know they make the soul seeds.
So maybe they're gonna try. Maybe they want.
But that's for the deer.
Or is it just the deer, or is it everything?
Yeah, perhaps it can make all manner
Like
of
maybe-
creature.
Because maybe they're gonna try to create something with it.
I think when we talked with the scarecrow, he said something about where the knock-knocks came from, and I don't know if he said it was from the tree.
I believe he said he was going to try his best to get knowledge of what the tree can do besides the deer. But we haven't visited him in a while.
I really wish that we could find another crossing. Maybe we should be on the lookout for one wherever we go. If we're traveling north to find that place that I think Otago made sure that everybody knew where it was from where he traveled, or somebody else told us where it was, I think we have a good idea of where the knock-knock lair is. Maybe we'll find another crossing. It would be good to maybe interact with the keeper again.
I agree.
So we just tell the people what we're going to be doing tomorrow because we have no choice.
Perhaps we gather a small few of the leadership and let them know what's going on and have them decide what best to tell everyone else. But all in all, what we're doing for them is going to help everyone in the long run. As far as we know.
And hopefully, says Themin, once this business is done, hopefully we can get to the point that we can communicate with the outside world before too many more of us die. I've got a bad feeling, in general, about being here. But fighting knock-knocks, as far as we know, we don't know of any weaknesses they have other than sunlight. And we know that once they're cut into pieces, sometimes they just keep coming back. This is not going to be easy. And we're not even trying to cut them up this time.
I think we should try our best to get back to the Keeper. He's had some time now to gather knowledge that we've asked for. Maybe he'll have something that will help us.
Well, if the Witchblades are demanding that we go first thing in the morning, it sounds like they're coming with us to set up a lot of this. That's what I'm gathering so far. But, yeah. I don't know who this keeper is, but sounds like somebody that I should like to know.
I think you would like him.
You guys eventually you find your place again, the encampment. People have been cleaning up the area, taking the dead, burying the dead, taking their effects off of them that can be used for survival needs, boots and things and laces. And what was a ceremonious feast and festival has become a mass funeral. And the night goes on. We're going to end it there. And for some XP gains, aside from the one you got earlier, you can each get, it was a good roleplay and whatnot, so you can each get 20.
We're so close yet so far away from leveling up.
So close, but so far.
So 251 with our additional 1 we got earlier.
I'm at 296 after last week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't here
you
last
you
week.
forgot to get some, so it should be 296. So go ahead and
Oh.
put yourself to 296 as well.
So I did get, and even though I wasn't really part of the battle.
Yeah.
Sweet, appreciate it.
I just want you guys to be at the same level, so that will work for me right now. Until I figure out something better to do with that.
Yeah.
You were doing I mean technically
I was doing a council meeting.
Yeah. Alright, yeah, you guys are actually pretty close.
So I was saying so close yet so far away. Like
Yeah.
we should, like maybe we get it next week, so we're 24 XP away from level 7. And then that's the first time we'll be able to implement, like, we can change one of our options, right? So if you do it that way, do you still get your extra ability, or do you lose the
Yeah, you get your extra one as well.
So you just get the opportunity to change one as well.
Yep.
Well, I know one I'm changing.
Alright.
I have a trait I hate.
Thanks for playing, guys. We got a lot of roleplay stuff done, and you got a lot of revelations and things going on.
Yeah, for sure. That was good.
Alright. See you guys next time. We got a good story unfolding.
Oh yeah. Thanks, guys.
I liked how in your text when I was responding to Kyle's thing, I was like, yeah, I love it when players suddenly realize that the whole thing they've been doing is based loosely on some known media, and I knew you were trying to figure out.
I'm trying to think.
It's not.
Oh, also, okay. Also, I didn't get the detective reference that you made. What is that?
So they're like, at first I was thinking like in the vein of like the Sherlock Holmes kind of thing, and then I realized that it would be just funnier to do some like random kind of thing, and then I was thinking like Enola Holmes, and and then I was like,
I gotcha.
I thought you were going the Sherlock route, and then you said little girl, and I'm like, what is he talking about?
But there are
so like Nancy Drew.
There are so many of those novels in those that my impression of a lot of those like small serialized things is that there was a period of time in which people would just get so bizarre with them that's the thing that I remember the most when I like my false memories of knowledge of these things is like what's that one guy? There was like an entire series of books that were about this guy that was like he was literally a space cowboy, and like but he was like part detective, part something else.
I don't know, but that sounds really cool, and I want to read.
And
Space
so he was interacting
detective.
with like aliens, but he was also like a super spy, and so like it was always like some sort of twist where it was like at the end of a book, he was actually switched out of his own body with the body of somebody else, and it was weird stuff like that.
Doctor Who?
No, it was like an era of I don't know, I'm gonna misspeak with something. I feel like it was like a 70s to 80s kind of thing. But anyway, I'll see you guys.
Jackson, I was gonna show you this real quick.
Okay. I like the three monitor setup. That's pretty sick.
I got
I like the PC
in the middle. Yeah, so it's 3-sided glass, tempered glass.
Nice.
I got a button that I push right here.
Yep. Got your switcher button. Oh, is that your on and off button?
Yeah, I have an on off button on the thing, and then I had the switcher back here.
Nice. I saw you were playing some Helldivers earlier.
Yeah, I played some Helldivers earlier. Been playing some Rocket League. Playing some games. I need to. I'm gonna download a couple more games. Play some time now that I actually have a PC and can play.
I've been playing Once Human. It just came out.
Yeah.
I played the 2 betas of it, and
I've been following what you've been putting in the Discord. And I'm like, I have no idea what it is. Like, I missed like the first half of the entire conversation. Now I'm just seeing like updates.
Yeah, it's like a survival type game with like boss battles. It's pretty cool.
We just have blue right now.
Nice, I like it.
Sounds like it's about to explode at the moment. It's ready to warm up and then cool back down.
I can't figure out what this is. Anyway.
Well, if you figure it out, let me know, because it sounds interesting.
All right. I'm I'm gonna send some gifts and then I'm going to bed.
Same.
All right.
See ya.